Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen to this Fire Emblem Binding Blade Let's Play. And seeing as last time we got done with Chapter 17, we'll say we do Chapter 17 all over again. Only this time we're heading to Sacae because Su and Sin was stronger than Thea and Shana. I mean, it was bound to happen. I just prefer using those two. Pretty much every time I play Binding Blade, I'll definitely use Shana. Thea, not really, but Su and Sin, oh yeah. I'll keep with them. So I tend to go Sacae more often than I go to Ilia, but, you know, I think Sacae is the overall better path for many reasons. One, I think it's more interesting because in the beginning they mentioned that Sacae went to face Burn head on, but then one of the tribes turned traitor and the whole thing fell apart. So it's quite interesting, you know, now you're, you know, essentially helping out some of the revolutionaries, so to speak. And, you know, especially it's interesting because of, like, how Su and Sin are tied to it and stuff. But it also feels like a missed opportunity here because I'm sure everyone knows this. Like, because Lin's not in this game, and, like, this would have been such a brilliant time to reintroduce Lin. I mean, to be fair, I don't know the whole story, but I think Lin was made as, you know, the tutorial character for Fire Emblem 7 because it was going to be the first Western game. So I reckon Lin was made for that purpose. You know, I don't think they wrote it with, like, I don't think they wrote Binding Blade or the Alive series with Lin in mind, and then they suddenly said, okay, we've got to put another character in, let's make Lin. I mean, it turned out for the best because Lin's, you know, one of the best characters in the entire series. But, you know, you could really tell, you kind of tell with this because she plays such a big part in Blazing Sword. And she's Sacaean in origin, and yet she's got nothing to do with this path. It's like, what the fuck? Anyway, Chapter 17b, The Bishop's Teaching. This chapter is a funny one, because there's a lot of stuff in this chapter which just screams no, and there's a lot of stuff that I normally don't like, yet for some reason it kind of works in this regard. Like, I shouldn't like this chapter because there's a lot of conventions in it that I don't like in other chapters, but here it has this, it all just comes together and it works for the most part. There is some stuff about this chapter I still don't like, but I think it's overall pretty good, and I think what really helps in that sense is the fact that where it's placed, it's like past the mid game, and also the layout, because when you'll see, like, the layout of this map, there's, like, it's quite big, but it's divided so that you can go, like, 3 separate routes. There's lots and lots of different terrain. There's, you know, forests, there's rivers, banks, there's mountains, there's a ton of terrain to go through. So even though there are some annoying elements, all the different terrain and all the different variety, there's stuff that it really does make this map one of the more open and just one of the more interesting ones that you can really take advantage of what's there. But there is one thing that this map does, which isn't necessarily bad, but it is a massive beginner's trap, and I'm pretty sure everyone fell for it, unless, like, you happen to be a crazy as fuck player the first time, or you had a guide. Because what happens is, very early on, I don't know how many times specifically, but very early, at least within the first 6, there's a village to the top, I remember, top right, that gets destroyed by thieves really early. And pretty much the only way to get there is to use your flyers to cut across the mountains, which is fine by itself, but because there's ballistas in this chapter, and it's fog of war, and there are siege tomes, your natural instinct is to not go so fast, but rather take your time, scout out the area, and see what's ahead. But this chapter really wants you to just gun it. It's like, alright, if you want that Eclipse tome, because that's what you get if you go to the house, you go, if you want Eclipse, you gotta gun it like a son of a bitch. And like, it's kind of like a risk versus reward, even if the reward isn't that amazing. But again, it's not, you don't have to necessarily go there, it's optional. And it is kind of a ballsy move. I also think it helps because at this point, most of units would be promoted. Because, like, the ballistas aren't that much of a threat anymore. I mean, they're dangerous, don't get me wrong, but they're not like, oh god, I cannot get, you know, within, you know, 5 meters of them. Or something like that. You cannot get anywhere near them, like 20 spaces near them, even though they could only hit them 10 spaces away. So overall, I do like this chapter, all things considered. It is a weird one. Like, I shouldn't like this chapter, but I do. It's odd. Oh dear, poor Wendy. Not off to the best start. Okay, definitely off to Oh boy. I wasn't, when he's like, I wasn't feeling that one. I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't fully shook at the time. Oh god. You know, we're off to a flying start. Get it? But I will say, I'm glad this chapter is where it is, because if this chapter was like because I had a few more items just left lying around, I decided to give, like, I had quite a few items left lying around, so I decided, because they're all going to be fighting, and it's like, this is the main team that I'm not switching out, I'm just going to use the rest of these items on the units I feel need it. No, Wendy's not getting one. She's already got boots and a skill ring. Give it to everyone else. And for those who are questioning why you give Gonzalez it because his resistance growth is terrible, because he currently has 0 resistance, I want him to have something. I'm not concerned about the growth, I'm just concerned that he has zilch. Even if it's only 2 resistance, it's something, and I want him to have some form of resistance. Again, I like to use the items to balance out my units, not to make one just like, let's see how quick we can cap our stats. That's just me. But like I was saying, if this chapter was like before chapter 4, like chapter 12 or something, this chapter would be a massive dick, because like you wouldn't have Milady, not many units would be promoted, and all the shit you've got to deal with, the bolting. Why is he going? What's he doing? You deserve that. Why would you, when you like had like at the end of the day, I don't think you were gonna beat Wendy, because just she could double you and she had higher hit and did a lot more damage. But point being, why would you go for the unit you cannot hurt at all and can one-shot you? That guy was asking for it, okay? Officially, like, I think he probably holds the reward for dumbest Fire Emblem AI ever. Thank God for the psychic staff. Yeah, that's also good, because I'm not in the mood to fight enemies with these two. I'm just going to hurry my ass as fast as I can to that village. Even though, like, at the end of the day, it's not even that worth it, because I don't use Eclipse that much, but I don't like seeing the villagers get burnt down. It's not nice. It's just not nice, and again, don't fuck with my resistance. I always suck at everything else, but my resistance is no joke. That's the one thing Sophia can hold in high regard. Damn it, I can take a magical hit. I just could do literally nothing else. And I mean nothing. Except for this one playthrough where I've been blessed by the RNG goddess. I've been blessed on more levels than one. Yeah, because of like, yeah, but as you can see, like mountain terrain, all that shrubbery, and even in the paths will split later on. It's pretty cool how this map, you can go about it your own way. It's quite open, and I think it's, I actually quite like the map. I know I don't like Fog of War, or, I don't think many people like Fog of War, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not big on Fog of War, but here it's alright. Again, it's also, this is nighttime. Makes sense. It's not fog, it's actual nighttime. But I didn't bring Chad because I didn't need him. Again, there's no treasure, I don't, and my units can, they're good. Oh, this guy is so dead. This is going to be wonderful. Something tells me Alina's gonna be very busy this chapter. I mean, if the last person trying to fight her was any evidence, this is gonna be real good. But back to my point with Lyn, because she's Sacae and all, and she plays a big part, you'd think like, I remember I think one good idea would have been for Lyn, like, due to the invasion of Burn and the tribes in Sacae trying to take them down, she'd go to join the fight, and then maybe because of the coup de grace or whatever it is, she can't get back to like Ostia or anything like that, or wherever she is, because that would also vary depending on who Lyn is paired with. Oh, poor lads. Those fucking steel weapons, but I'm using them because I want to save the silver weapons for a little bit later. Once we get closer towards the end game, then I'll start breaking out the silver weapons. I mean, some characters already using them. I mean, Wendy already got the chance to use one, but she's the exception. She's special. It's more of a case of just slight favoritism. Well, actually, I think Sue's already got the silver bow, so And Alina's got some she has Air Caliber, but she doesn't need to use it. She's just killing everyone with everything else. And yeah, Deke's already got the silver sword, so some units have already got busting out the silver weapons, just not everyone. But on back to the point with Lyn, like, if she was married to Hector, it would have been interesting to see how, like, when she joins up again, if she was in this, like, how Lilina would have to break the news to her, like, how she'd respond to it. It would be really interesting. Or say, she was married to Raph and, Sue's her daughter, so you know the reunion could be really cool between her and Sue. And Lena, that's fucking overkill, man. What is with you today? You're just like, oh, I am so killing all of you guys. The power of my dad flows through me. She's gone full Hector mode. Oh, help us all. God help us all. I just don't know why they're going after her. Like, seriously, go for Wendy. I mean, you're probably going to lose at the end of the day, but at least you have a chance. Here, it's just like, no, you're dead. I question some people. I really, really, really question the AI in this game. Not only is the RNG terrible, the AI is just as bad. It's a weird case. It's a weird case. But on what I was saying about Lyn and stuff, that's why everyone keeps saying if they ever remake Binding Blade, do a whole 7 and 6 thing as one game, which I'm down with, but it also made me think, if they did do the, because everyone says do the genealogy approach where it's, you know, it's 2 games essentially in one. You first half you play Blazing Sword, second half you play Binding Blade. If that was the case, that like you do realize that on average both games have about 30 more or less 30 chapters. So put that together, we're looking at a 60 to 70 chapter game, and I'm just like, okay. I could barely scrape, like, Radiant Dawn was a lot to get through. This is fucking ridiculous. Like, if they did do it as one game, they'd have to really condense both games, which I don't think they should do, because I think both games, you know, should just be whole, personally. I think they stand, I think all the chapters included, they stand as strong games, but Blazing Sword being the better of the two. But, if that's the case, I think what they have to do is, like, maybe sell the version, like, you know, you have the, like, Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Alive or something like that, or Shadows of the Scouring. That actually sounds pretty cool. And, during, like, maybe you have a choice of, like, in the menu, do you play Blazing Sword or do you play Binding Blade? And you get to pick. Like, if you choose Binding Blade first, you just set with, like, the preset stuff, but if you play Blazing Sword first, you can transfer the data over to, you know, get skills. Well, certain skill. Oh, that would make some units so broken. Could you imagine? Like, I'm just gonna say, like, if there were skills in I know there was one skill in Blazing Sword, and that was thingamajig. That was lethality, or lethality, however you pronounce it, with Jafar and stuff. But if, like, say Lyn could learn Astra, and then Lyn married Hector, and then Hector passed down Astra to Lelina, oh Jesus Christ Almighty! That would be terrifying in just so many ways. Like, I would just be... I think everyone would be shitting themselves. Or, like... Could you imagine, like... Because I know, like, Nino is, like, the mother of Hugh and Ray. So... Lou and Ray. So, could you imagine, like, them with, like, lethality or something? That'd be fucking nuts. But it would, like, you know, that would, you know, be interesting. You know, that's the ideal way to do it. Just do the transfers and stuff. But I will reckon that you have to, like, do Echoes first. Oh, sorry. Do Binding Blade first as one game, then sell Blazing Sword. Or do Blazing Sword first, and then do Binding Blade, or maybe just do the whole data transfer thing once you have both games. Or sell them as one game, but the two separate, you get to pick the two, you know, you get to pick which one you want to play, rather than, because I reckon doing it all as one game would be a bit too much. You have to really squash down the game, and I don't think they should do that, because, you know, I think both games, you know, Blazing Sword especially, I think it's paced very well, and all the chapters are overall pretty good. I mean, yeah, there's one or two. I mean, I think most people would like to forget about chapter Battle Before Dawn, even though it plays a big part in the story, but what are you going to do? But that, you know, if they ever do that, I hope that is the way they go, just because it makes sense. I mean, there are children in this game and characters from the other games present. But also, I was thinking, if Lyn was in this in the Sacae route, I don't know if they'll make Lyn just permanent, as in she's in whichever route regardless, or she's just purely Sacae. If she was purely Sacae, that would kind of make Ilia redundant, because at the end of the day, like, a lot more happened in Sacae, so Ilia's kind of like, why are we even here? But in that case, to remedy that, I would say one of the things you could do, because you get Nimi in both pathways, but you get her earlier in nice critical. God bless you, Shana. You get her earlier in the Ilia route. So what was I gonna say? So in that case, it would be interesting if Canis or Canas came back, because he's her son, so it would be interesting to see him there. It would be even more interesting if, say, No. It would also be interesting if, like, because Ray is her grandson. Is Ray? No. I can't. Oh shit! I completely lost my train of thought. Whether or not he was grandson. Shit. Sorry, I completely forgot. All right, sorry. It just came back to me. He Hugh is Nimi's grandson. So, and you know, Kanas is Hugh's father. So it'd be interesting if you went that path and you had Hugh on you, that Kanas could come back or something like that. And I don't know, maybe if Kanas like married someone or something like that, Hugh would get certain skills. But you know, stuff like that would make certain pathways more interesting. And just, you know, it would give more relevance to Ilya, because I think overall Ilya's just not as good as Sacae. And there goes Kareen wrecking all kinds of shit. Yeah, now she could fight. She's got to fight the good fight. She's got to fight and then some. Yeah, Roy's just there, gonna visit the village because goddamn, he can't do anything else. Bless his soul. Not until chapter 21X, Roy. Not until 21X. You're literally just going to be standing there. I feel so sorry for you. I mean, Eliwood's kind of the same because he doesn't get promoted to chapter 27. But to remedy that, you get to promote either Hector or Lyn. And actually, if you play Hector mode, you get to promote either Eliwood or Lyn. So it's no real big issue with Eliwood because you have two other lords to promote. And even then, like, once you promoted Hector, you're good. It's like, I promoted Hector. Well, I'm good to go. Fuck every single enemy in the game. Because he's that powerful. God damn, Hector. Hector the Rector. You know, such a fitting name. Such a wonderfully fitting name. But yeah, as you can see, there are a lot of thieves in this chapter, and if you don't get there quickly, that place gets absolutely destroyed. Again, you don't have to go there, just get Eclipse Tome, but again, I like rescuing all villages, but I wonder like how many players, like, they're just playing the game normally and suddenly, oh yeah, village was sort of like, oh, fuck, that was quick. Yeah, but it is a good thing that definitely this chapter is where it is, because I reckon if this chapter was any earlier, oh boy, this would have been a pain in the arse. An absolute pain in the arse, but you know, I just think this chapter is pretty cool. Pretty damn cool. I mean, the next 2 or 3 chapters not as interesting, because again, the Sacae, I said in the previous part, this part is the one exception. The Sacae landscape is incredibly flat and like barely, like, again, the levels are mostly just flat plains with people occasionally like with the occasional like huts or, you know, bush to go in, but aside from that, it's just very flat and kind of boring. You know, I mean, they throw a lot of enemies at you, so you have to, you know, really think and use whatever terrain there is to your advantage. But like most of the chapters, like, all right, here's the center, go, like, here's the center of the thingamajig. Here are a shit ton of nomads. Fight, just fight. What are you gonna do? She is fast, isn't she? It is cool. It is wonderful. That's one thing I always do really like with Fire Emblem Medics. Usually, once they promote, they fight the good fight. They wreck all kinds of shit. Because I remember, like, Natasha was the same. I know Reese definitely can do some good damage. Larachelle was a really good fighter, and Elise is a really good fighter as well. Sakura not so much, but that's because she was using a physical weapon, not a magical one. Yeah, she's not exactly, you know, she's not exactly ripped. She ain't no Takumi. Speaking of Sakura, I actually got her in my most recent Fire Emblem Heroes pull. Granted, the pull was shit. It's probably the shittest one I got. Because all I got was, well, aside from the 4-star Sakura, who was new, I got 3-star Nino, 3-star Gwendolyn, 3-star Jagan, 4-star Gordon, all of which I had before, and I was like, wow. That actually fucking sucks. That was really, really bad. Again, I was doing so well, and then Fire Emblem Heroes just dropped me right back down to I was like, nope. But now everyone's got to save up for the Celica one. Oh, people are going to be on that shit like crazy. Because I know, ever since people saw Celica's redesign, they've been going nuts over her. I mean, to be fair, they have a right to. The design is wonderful, but, like, goddamn. I'll fuck you and fuck your Axe Reaver. Still doesn't mean much, only just 6 damage. When he's not having the best day. Well, to be fair again, with that weapon here, I'm not having the best day right now. To be fair, after, what was the last 6, no, she was in 16 years. I think after like chapter 16, she's kind of worn out because she was so busy fighting everyone else. It's like, dude, I'm exhausted. I know fatigue isn't in this game, but I'm fucking exhausted. This armor is killing my back. I'm tiny. Yeah, that's the one thing. Wendy's actually pretty damn small. Like, how she walks around with all that armor, I'll never know. But then again, I question most, like, how a lot of Fire Emblem characters wield all those weapons. But what are you gonna do? In this case, just watch the Korean wreck all kinds of shit again. Oh, and I do remember, because this is the Sacae route, and I use thing in the last chapter, he'll probably promote at the end of this chapter as well. I don't know if he officially will, but I'm pretty confident. Yeah, I'm pretty damn confident he does promote. And I really can't decide what to attack this guy with, and I don't know why. Just attack the damn person! Jesus, well, you know, you can't hurt me, so what does it matter? I'm a general, bitch, I'm rocking on the pounds. I have biceps where biceps should not be. Can't wait till like the other Fire Emblem games where you start using the really potent generals. I mean, yeah, I've been able to make Wendy good in this, but she hasn't reached the level of like Oswin or Radiant Dawn Gatry or Effie. Oh, I can't wait to use Effie. I fucking love that girl. Jesus, oh. Like, she puts like most berserkers to shame at how strong she is. Oh yeah, nomadic troopers can use swords, so I thought, why not? I mean, to be fair, I'm barely going to be using a sword as like Sue and Sin, but hey man, the opportunity's there. Might as well go for it. You know, make the best use out of what you have. Wendy can use an axe. She's using axes. And eventually, you know, Lelina and Sophia will start using staffs. Yes, Sophia's going to promote soon enough. I think it's the next chapter, actually. Well, next Sacae chapter she'll promote. I don't know about the Ilia one. I can't remember what she promotes in the Ilia chapter. No, fuck you. You've got no chance in hell. Ugh. And this is just with a fire tome. Imagine she was like rocking like air caliber. Holy shit, that would be dangerous. On so many levels. I don't show off the arena because it's kind of pointless. I mean, my units are good enough already and I'm too far ahead and Roy's not going to get anything from, you know, doing that. And Lena's just there like, yeah, I'm going to pick off all the stragglers. Because I have a thirst for blood that cannot be quenched. At least in this chapter I have. And she went full Hector mode that time. Full Hector mode. Nobody goes full Hector. Except Elena. She really is her father's daughter. But it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. Again, I'm just wondering how they'll be able... I wonder, will they actually do like... Oh. Before that... Okay, now we have 2 nomadic troopers. 1 was enough, but 2's even better. He looks like Robin Hood. Like, the green attire, he looks like Robin Hood. Holy shit. It's so green. But, as I was saying with the skills and stuff, like, I wonder if that would break the game. Because I already know that, you know, a lot, like, both in Awakening and... Ow. In Awakening and Fates, you know, child units, they often turn out really strong. I mean, more so Awakening, because Morgan, like, fuck. Jesus, like, just Jesus. But I wonder, like, if they do the Blazing Sword approach, how strong will some of these units get? Like, again, Alina with Astra, that's gonna be dangerous. It's gonna be like, hey, Narcian, pow, 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 pow. No, Betty to Sophia, just like 4 blazes in a row, and Sophia's like, oh, Jesus Christ, help me. Someone, for the love of God, help me. Actually, that'd be hilarious to see, like, the ultimate form of vengeance. 4 blazes in a row. Or, like, with that part of it update, because I imagine, like, Rutger performing Astra with Durandal. Like, Jesus. Or, like, if they're going to keep the whole thing, because I know Crom had it, even though he shouldn't. Like, if they have, like, Eliwood and Roy have Ether. Ether with the Binding Blade. You know, suddenly Ragnar's not the best weapon to use that thing. Suddenly. I'd actually be really interested to see how, like, what direction they go with a Binding Blade remake, whether or not they'd whether or not they'd add, like, what of the new stuff they would add, much like the Echoes approach, and whether or not they make them both games like linked It's going to be interesting to see. I'm so much... again, when I see Sophia getting skill, that's a good sign. Also, to Paper Mario Fan 1, yep, she hasn't promoted yet, she's already got 10 skill. You know, it's happening all over again. It's happening all over again. This the challenge. Can Micaiah have more than 10 skill? And can... Oh, yeah, I remember this bit. This is like the one of those super training sequences. Okay, no, can Micaiah have 10 speed? If she can, thank fucking... More than 10 speed? If she can, thank God. If not, shit. Yeah, I see the big training sequence, because I was worried that Roy was going to get, like, in big trouble, and then I thought to myself, wait a minute. Roy's level 20 right now, and he's just got a steel sword. Roy's going to be fine, but at the time, I was just like, gotta save Roy. Not thinking that, you know, even though he's not promoted, he's going to be just fine. Poor fools. My bloodlust cannot be stopped. We have to restrain her. Like, oh god, she's going to be on, like... She's going to have a thirst for Sacaeans by the end of this, or thirst for burn at least. Like, she's going to drink the blood of Sephiel as he burns. No, she's going to eat Sephiel as he burns to a crisp. That's kind of morbid, but, you know, they took my father. I shall take his soul. It's also in this chapter where I start, yeah, you guys see some of the supports in this chapter. So, yeah, I think it's the Sacae route you'll see the supports, because in the Ilia one, didn't really bother. Only because, again, because Ilia was not canon, there was, like, stuff I did that, like, that didn't concern me, that, like, I didn't use some of the certain, upgrade, at least not early on, didn't use some of the upgrade items that didn't support units the same way, because my whole mindset has been, you know, Ilia's going to be the canon route. Granted, you know, I still got to decide because of the level ups, but I think I'm going to stick, sorry, Sacae is meant to be the canon route. 1 damage, but I still fucking hate you. It still counts. It still counts. But, yeah, I still think Sacae is going to be the canon one, even though some units did get better level ups, but, you know, Sin and Figgy promoted earlier, so I think that kind of negates it. Oh, double critical. The ones where you're thrown in high defense, you'd be dead right now. Alas, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Hopefully you get Sue to finish him off. Just have to wait and see. No. Oh, 79? Seriously? Oh well. Man, she can't crit at all. It's weird. It's like, as a nomad, Sue was better, but as a nomadic trooper, shit is better. Oh well. Alright, let's see if Karine could deal out divine punishment, so to speak. Oh, she got one in. Dodged that nicely, and she takes him down. You're lucky Lilina didn't get there, because if the Ilia route was any evidence, you would have died painfully, and if this route is any evidence, Lilina would have not let you off easy. Like, goddamn, you would have been in such pain. And again, shit level ups. Man, this guy, because he's such a traitor, he gives you some shit level ups. It's weird, because Narcian gave Lilina such a nice one, but this one, it's all shit. This is, Ellen and Milady support. Quite like it just because those two kind of have a history. You know, they both work for Guinevere and stuff like that. But it's just like, I don't know the best way to describe this one, but I reckon Ellen really doubts herself, especially because of what she's done. She feels like she's kind of like somewhat a traitor and stuff like that. Didn't consult with people, kind of cowardice. But Milady just encourages her. It's like, no, you did the right thing. You know, you did it of your own accord. It's because you serve, you know, Guinevere. You know, you're not in the wrong. You're not in the wrong. I like the support between those two, and I think it works because you know they have history. Kind of like, you know, how Sue and Sin also have history. Just some supports work because the characters already have an established background. It's just, you know, one of those things. Some supports could, you know, really turn out in their favor. Ah, Lorena, you just won't stop. Yeah, I think 13 skill. Yeah, I think Percival doesn't have the best skill. I think, just because if this you know, if this playthrough is any evidence, his skill isn't particularly great. We granted everything else is. It's just that one stat that isn't particularly great. But speaking of Sue and Sin, more supports with them. This one's pretty. Again, it's just going on with the whole. They need to support each other. There's not, you know, to help rebuild their tribe. Even though Sue is slightly more important, Sin shouldn't think of himself as less. Pretty cool. But yeah, the thing with Sacaeans is they often they don't speak much. I reckon their actions. It's more about their actions rather than their words. So, you know, seeing supports of them is like the most they'll ever open up, which is, you know, quite the thing for quite the task for them, so to speak. But it's pretty cool. I ship these two just because I think they work well together. You know, again, it's the established history they have, and just how they support, and the situation that goes on as well. They're like one of the few Sacaeans left. Well, I say few, you know, just thingamajig. And Roy and Sophia support as well. This one's pretty cool as well. Just like, you know, Sophia looking out for Roy, especially because he plays a big part in all this, but Roy's pretty, you know, it's like, I've got to, you know, be on the front lines and lead my troops, even though throughout this entire thing I'm sitting in the background doing fuck all. So if anything, what Sophia actually said is coming true. You know, sit in the background, Roy. Don't fight at the front. Why? Because you can't promote for the next couple of chapters, and you're gonna do fuck all. Oh god! So this support actually ties into gameplay. Very clever. Very clever. And this talk is pretty much just all they said last time. You know, just, you know, stuff with the Fire Emblem and so on. You know, it's, you know, some of the stuff is repeated, but it happens. It happens. Yeah. What are you gonna do? I could have skipped this, but I felt like just keep it in for the sake of, oh, keep it in, just in case there was anything slightly different. I can't remember. So, yeah. All that's left is wait for this thing to just get through. I still don't know why Merlinus has so much screen time, considering he was pretty irrelevant. Like, I wonder if, like, the developers looking back, because Merlinus was not that present in Blazing Sword and Lyn was so much more present, yet here, Merlinus won't leave us alone and Lyn's over to Cecilia. What are they thinking? Oh, fuck, when we make Binding Blade, we've really got to sort this out, like, goddamn. Also, I wonder if they'll throw in a reference to Battle Before Dawn. That'd be really interesting. Like, maybe if there's some sort of hint, like, maybe Zephyr, like, maybe shows something towards Hector, or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, that's the end of Chapter 17B. Thank you for joining me. And when we continue this Let's Play, we're going back to Ilia, and it's gonna get cold, people. It's gonna get very, very cold. So, until then, thank you all very much for watching. See you later.